Yeah, I would think there'd be some line of account.
Because if you're gonna register them out, you should be contacting the captain, and that was not happened.
All right, I hear you, Captain, but that doesn't mean...
Right.
Are we in public session yet, Mayor?
Not yet.
Oh, God.
All right, Jeff?
The only two additional things I have are the chief of OPD applied for and got a SAM grant.
Yes, I did.
72,000 and some change, and I'm helping him out with paperwork, so I gotta do another, prove that we own 90 Temple Street thing you'll have to sign, and I got that paperwork.
Oh, we got a grant for it.
It's for equipment,
Not for the
basically.
building.
Right, it's not for the building, it's for equipment, car, computers, cameras, that kind of stuff. The other thing is the Hooker Foundation is accepting applications until the 15th. I'd like to submit one for new parks equipment up in Hallstatt.
Okay.
So, with your approval, I'll go ahead and do that.
How much for it, Jeff?
I'm not sure, I haven't put it together yet. It's probably gonna be in excess of 35,000 probably. Park equipment is expensive. Seeing how Libis isn't around anymore to give me money. Left that.
Fred's around.
Fred's a great guy, but Fred's a Republican.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
They don't have much pull in Albany these days.
Not anymore.
But I'll talk to Fred too. And that's it really.
Okay.
So you need a motion to apply for that?
I do need a motion to apply for the grant.
Okay.
Does the mayor have to sign the paperwork for that?
Oh, you can if you want.
I was just thinking, motion to apply and authorize whoever wants to sign stuff.
There you go.
Board minutes and
And that is the motion.
Say what?
I just made that motion.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll second.
I usually like to say it exactly.
So a vote, Fran?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And yes.
thank you.
We'll put that together and then I'll sign the stuff.
Yes, sir.
If I need.
That's all I have.
That's all the minutes. So, next item is trustee reports. Fran?
I have no report this time.
Okay. Charles?
Did go to the last DRI meeting, he was at too, and we got the vote through and all that stuff.
Yeah, the plan is not submitted yet. It's
Well, it's supposed to be.
they're supposed to have that wrapped, it's supposed to already be submitted, so.
Yeah.
Do we have the list of what got sent in?
I'll get it.
Thank you.
But yes, it's the last list, nothing typed.
Still like it.
But we'll get it.
Okay, no, other than that, nothing.
I have nothing, but I do have a question, because my wife wanted me to ask this question about East Temple Street, about the lawn and the sidewalks.
Did they accept that letter?
I sent a letter to both Suez and NICEAG. The mayor put together and signed, and I have not heard back from either corporation.
Neither have I, and there's nothing going on over there, there's crickets and people dodging potholes.
Right.
Oh, geez, the roller coaster.
So I can make some phone calls tomorrow. See if anybody has anything.
Okay.
One of them has to talk to Spain, and the other one has to talk to France.
Yeah. If nothing else, they can bring some more dirt for the bottom.
French sidewalks?
Oh yeah, waters here.
Here's a copy.
So, as I said before, I know Brooks is actually going to be digging up East Temple Street again because I just got a dig ticket for gas main repair at 185 East Temple Street. And that's supposed to be on the 4th, which is Thursday, so they'll be digging that up again on Thursday, just to let you know. As far as water goes, we will be replacing sidewalks that we removed. We will be fixing lawns that we disturbed. Of course, we're only just getting into the weather where we can probably start doing that kind of thing. I did get the letter from Jeff. and I did talk to corporate about it. I did get approval to do curb to curb, end to 1/3. Because their feeling is that NICEAG is the one that initiated the project. NICEAG is the one that caused the issues to make us have to go in there. And NICEAG is the one that put an entire gas main down the other side of the road. All we did was replace services. So we do agree to do 1/3 of it, but not half. So you gotta get NICEAG to agree to the other 2/3.
Okay.
But we will do 1/3 of the street, curb to curb.
Did you see in front of my house, there's a cap that's right in the middle of the sidewalk?
It's
I don't think that was there before. That was
They all
put
are.
there?
They weren't there
Yeah, it's the
before.
shut off.
Okay, so that's gonna be,
That'll be flush with the concrete. When the concrete is put back, sidewalk is put back in, it'll be flush.
that was the one that used to be in the grass, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah,
moved it.
I ruined many a lawnmower blade.
We moved
gas
that
one's
the
still in
grass
grass.
into the sidewalk for 2 reasons. One, to help homeowners not hit them with the mowing the grass. 2, the sidewalk is public right away. According to law, I can't have a customer owning the service line in a public right away. I have to own it. So we usually try to get right where the sidewalk and the grass meet. But the problem with that is then you get the sidewalks cracking and breaking because you got this thing in there. So I moved it back 4 to 6 inches off the edge of the sidewalk so that you have a decent sized amount of sidewalk between that won't crack and break hopefully.
Well, there is a fissure, like, right in front of my house, going into the street. I don't know when it occurred,
Like a water fissure kind of.
like a California fissure, like fault line, I don't know, it's,
Is there water coming out of
there's
it?
nothing coming out of it, but I don't wanna fall in it.
What address, Charles?
Yeah,
What address?
huh? 194.
194? I'll have Mark look at it.
Okay.
But yes, Mike, that is the approval I have already, and I've already talked to Roots to get me the price quote on what it'll cost to mill and pave. So that we were gonna put binder in everything we did, and then mill 2 inches off the whole thing and put in 2 inches of top. So I already have Mark getting me a price on what that's gonna cost, so we can go ahead and move on it. Because we'll be ready to do it April 15th comes, as soon as the blacktop plant opens. Whatever battle you got with NICEAG.
So we gotta get a little nice.
I'll get a hold of Dan
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Thanks,
You
sir.
just let me know what third you want us to do, and we'll, if you want me to go from Page Street a third way up, the Green Street or something.
Yeah, I'll have to get a little nice thing, figure out what we're gonna do here, but yeah.
It'll look fishy if you only do it in front of the mayor's house.
That's why I just suggested Page Street.
No favoritism.
That's not where my house is. So. I'll still park in the road, that's okay.
But if there's more, I'll have Mark go down there tomorrow and check and see if there's more trenches we can fill in.
A couple of them are.
Again, I don't know if they're water trenches or NICEAG trenches.
Yeah.
I can't put dirt in NICEAG trenches, so.
I have no idea. They're all the same color, brown.
The problem is you can see where they lead to the gas main, you can see where they lead to the water main, so.
Anything else, Charles?
No, that's all I got.
Just a pet peeve.
I'll get your fissure fixed.
Ron?
I had a meeting with Rusty and Tracy about the EDU changes. I do want to look into possibly forming another sewer commission so that we have something more structured.
Yep.
That is all I have.
I think that's a good idea. We do have one. I can get you the, I've said that a couple times. I can get you the names of the people on it.
I believe those people are no longer around.
One of them's sitting right here.
Yeah, we'll drink that.
And I have the number to another one if you want me to get.
I'd like to get some other input than ours.
So, I'll get that set back up. Anything else?
No, sir.
Rusty?
the planning and the zoning board both met this last week, and they both gave their types of approval that they had to give for the potential sushi bar Weitzman project, which I believe everybody here has finally seen.
Yeah, if not, there's a bunch of stuff up on the village website about it.
How about
I
that?
put up the drawings and the drawings that have been submitted and pictures of what it used to look like.
The old building now?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and of course, once again, I don't know who's up to date on this, but I did not notice at first when we were talking about this months ago. It's a glass wall across the whole back. It's a glass wall across the side coming up by the bridge, and it's a glass ceiling. It will be like the Apple glass cube in New York City. They have put, at the design, at this moment, they have a brick wall on the side towards Pat Hansen's building and the Alamo brick wall in the front. They have to go to OHPC next to get approval for that
On Thursday.
type of, it's a public hearing on Thursday, approval for that type of design. So we'll see how what suggestions OHPC is interested in that.
Yep.
So that's the status of that. Fire department. EMS. So the chief is under the impression, and so I'm bringing this.
Fire chief, you mean?
The fire chief is under the impression that the fly car was intended by the Mildred Faulkner Foundation to be used by the fire department in a particular way, and he's under the impression that that fly car should be part of the fire department. He has thoughts and reasons why he thinks that is. So I'm just telling you that that's a particular point of contention.
That's why the keys are not where they're supposed to be?
Could be. He also, I believe, thinks that the fly car was not in accordance, I don't know what the right words would be here, but was not serviceable. I believe he thinks that the fly car could not be used, was not serviceable. Once again, you'd have to ask him exactly.
At one point, that was the only thing that was...
That is 100%.
That's true. That was, at one time, that was the only thing that was in service. Yeah,
What does the Mildred Faulkner, so the fly car we bought that with the Mildred Faulkner grant and almost $11,000 out of this squad account we talked about all night.
Yeah. So, anyways,
It was
just
clearly squad all the way.
Yes.
Outside the village, so they can...
anyway, that's...
So I did send an email earlier today, hopefully to clear that up. And I said that the fly car and every other vehicle the village owns is owned by the village.
Correct.
It's used for the squad, it's an ALS vehicle, it's certified by, it's one of the only 2 certified vehicles we have from the Department of Health to actually respond to people. So it needs to be used by the EMS.
Did we also use that, did the fire department also use that as a first response?
No.
They never used that?
The ceiling doesn't cover them.
Okay. Okay. That's it. No, thank you very much.
You read
That's-
it again.
Yeah, that's fine. Actually, that's right up there high. Anyways, so anyway, that was a concern that I said I
Raise your
would,
hand if the mayor lets you, but
that I said,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a concern.
I'll wait.
It was a concern that the fire chief had. I would like to make a motion that we appoint Jim Miller. We're going to have new squad elections quite soon, right? I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Jim Miller, this is Jim Miller, from the Wiggle Fire Department and the Wiggle Squad as the acting lieutenant for the squad, while we have the 2 co-captains now, Robin and Jim Hoover, and I would like to make a motion that Jim Miller be the acting lieutenant up until the election time.
I thought we decided we'd just go with go.
I'm sorry?
I don't understand. I thought we decided last meeting we were going with just the co-chiefs until the
In the resolution that we passed, that is.
Until the time of the election.
I understand that. We picked just a captain and
Crossed the
I.
others out.
Co-captain.
We did not pick anybody else at that time. I'm just making the motion that we have a lieutenant at this time until the
The
election.
board decision last time was that we would leave it up to the EMS to give us their officers.
They're going to have an election and give us
Right.
their officers. In the meantime, we only have 2 officers.
Right.
We can have 2, we can have 4, we can have 5. I'm suggesting that we have.
Decided last time we'd have 2.
So we have a motion, do we have a second for
And
this
I'm
motion?
making a suggestion that we add a 3rd one until that new slate of officers takes office.
I second.
Okay. So let's do a vote on this. Fran?
No.
Charles?
No.
Ron?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Thank you. Brought that up. And I think what else I had. I think we should find out the status of our contract with VCI.
Yes. We need to do
I
that.
was under the impression that that ambulance had been delivered to Binghamton somewhere area. I don't know if it's there or not, but I was under the impression someplace that it had been delivered there. I don't know if it's there. I think we should find out the status of our contract, what our obligations are, and we should, what our obligations are with our trade-in. We know the problems with that. We also have a number of bad ambulances. We should consider, of course, depending on what we have to do, we should consider purchasing that ambulance as we had intended to do, to give us a second ambulance that hopefully is a decent ambulance. I would certainly be more than happy to hear the squad captain's opinion about that ambulance. But and I'm not making that motion at this time, but I think we should absolutely look at those things. What are we obligated to, and is that something that we want to
I agree.
continue on? Can I ask the squad captain?
So we need to get estimates on the other ambulances that are broken.
Yeah, which is
To be able
a
to compare
nightmare.
this.
Yeah. Can I ask the squad captain?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Something? Do we still have? Would you have interest in that ambulance?
Well, yeah, we definitely would have had interest in that ambulance before we had to do this other one.
Yeah.
Because that other one's been,
But we're just going from today.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, that was our original,
Yeah, we wanted to buy it
Project
originally.
to
We
begin
tried to buy it originally.
and personally, I can't really tell you if it's still sitting in Binghamton or not.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
They may very well have since
Yeah,
through you
yeah.
guys and we'll take it back to New Jersey, so.
So I think that's something we should explore
Yeah.
soon. About, once again,
Compared to,
situation.
compared to the cost of, we've got to have 2 or 3 decent ambulances.
It looks like it's smelling like it's gonna cost us a pile of money to keep fixing these 2 that we have that we're trying to fix.
Well, what the process is right now is, the spec 832 has pretty much been from here to Alaska and back in the last couple weeks with different people thinking they were gonna fix it. And now we've got another guy saying he was gonna tear the cab off. And I said, no, we're not doing that, because to me, that's our electronics, and this man is using a computer to research it, not feeling too comfy about that. I don't know about you guys.
And that's a 5-figure number, to take that cab off and work.
Yeah,
That's a-
so we have another option that we have brought forth that would be cheaper in the long run, and especially when the gentleman told me on the phone you should just scrap it, was not a nice feeling also. So when I called to tell them to stop whatever they were gonna do until we could figure out what's gonna be the best cost-effective thing for us to do to get ambulances up and functioning. At this point, 831 is near completion until I told him the air conditioning has to be working in the back in order to be compliant. So he has gotten that as well today to do, and he's close. He said Thursday or Friday prior to me cleaning up the air conditioning in the back, so that'll give us 2. Plus the flight car, which as I might as well tell you, it's not out of service. There's nothing about that flight car that's out of service. The chief had stated very verbally and in front of a lot of people that he was gonna come down and scrape the Owego Fire Department off of, or the fire department off of the ambulance and the fly car. So to eliminate damage being done, because I didn't know what kind of temperament it would be, we had it removed, and we have the 3-2 left down there so that the 2-0 can be added nicely. And that's all that was done, was that Owego Fire was taken, or Fire Department was taken off, and it still reads Owego Emergency Squad. The Owego EMS, whatever. But there's nothing on that makes that not compliant, because all of our numbers and stuff have been changed through dispatch and county.
Are we gonna do stickers for the numbers? So we get the right numbers?
We have to purchase the stuff to make the numbers, and
Okay.
then we'll be done.
The 37 other things I have will go another time.
Okay. Laura?
I just wanted to talk about the village hearing for the OHPC for the sushi restaurant, but Rusty covered that.
Anything else?
Sorry. What's up?
Alright, there is, somebody axed off mayor's report of the list, and they're trying to tell me.
Meetings in a row,
So, I didn't make a report.
Probably have 3 pages at the beginning, right?
It's been crazy 2 weeks, to say the least. Yeah, that's all I have. And I would like to make a motion for an executive session concerning a department head within the village of Owego.
So moved. Can we, are you making you do public before you
Yes.
do that?
So vote for the executive session.
I second. Although I like it, so. Yes.
Yes.
There's enough of us here. Okay.
Yes.
And yes. Okay. So we'll do that after public comment. So public comment?
Burley's been waiting patiently.
I'm willing to. Unlike my captain, I'm no longer interested in playing nice in a sandbox, because there's been too much stuff. I heard Trustee Fuller talk about taking spare keys and getting the drug bag out of the flight car. That's just plain nonsense. No, sorry Rusty, but it is, because that flight car has to be able to respond at both as BLS and ALS, as you already know. So, to me, that's not even workable. Captain's already talked about the statement that that's a that the thing needs service. It doesn't. Here's my question. I got 2 questions. The attorney can answer this. I'm a village employee, right? As a member.
Yes.
Every one of them sitting out there are village employees, right? So can a private entity dictate how a village employee can or cannot provide their services that you put them in place to do? You being the board head, you there. Because actually, so far, I'm very proud of, the stance that you guys have taken. But again, can that private board dictate to your village employees how they can perform or not perform your duties that you put them in place for? Don't have to answer me right now, it's a question, okay? The other part of it is, but this is one that I'm very concerned about, is why is the board condoning the actions of a set of out-of-control chiefs to the point where they are very destructive to what's happening, not only to the morale, but how we can safely function. We don't have our portable radios, it was talked about earlier. They took a flight car out, so if that one ambulance is there, I got it out on a BLS or whatever, and a call comes that someone is in cardiac arrest, that damn vehicle can't go because we got to search for keys. So why is that type of action being condoned? And I'm very serious to that question. I'd like to know why it's being condoned.
I haven't condoned it, but I agree with you.
So, anyhow, there's a list of stuff that I could go down through from standing. If you guys didn't get a good chance to look at the budget for this year, and I can tell you that I was witness to a meeting where the mayor, the chief was told, don't do this. The chief did it anyhow. And then got very heated and got in someone's face because they asked, why would you do that? We're not ready. You just heard us and heard us badly. I'm the chief, damn it, and I'll do what I want. So, again,
We have 3 chiefs, well, I never thought I would say it, they're out of control. They can be very easily reported. Then, I don't care, because I say it openly to them. I don't say anything I don't stand behind. But right now, until you get those chiefs under control, as far as I'm concerned, you're condoning the actions.
Paul?
Concerning out-of-control chiefs, I just wanted to know what came about our meetings that we had with the committee in reference to our fire department suspensions. We did not hear back. I do realize that we are members of the EMS organization in 2 hours and 12 minutes, and we can start responding to calls again, but, I mean, we're still members of the fire department.
And our officers will be back in place.
So,
Mr. Mayor, we're going into executive session about a department head. At that time, we will discuss we would like to also discuss the
Matters relating to the employment, promotion, suspension, discipline of individuals within the Department of
Yes.
Village.
That's exactly what it is. We'll add that to it, we'll just do that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor.
Can I say something?
Yes, absolutely.
So, I'm with the fire department and the squad. Can we sit down for a minute, Christina? Rusty is right. Everybody's button heads. We're all adults. We all need to get along. We all need to do it. I talked to Rusty. That's why I threw my name in to be first lieutenant, to try to help the fire department and EMS together to get back together for the next month. That's your guys' decision, whatever. But I also have to say that I have contacted our captain. I have not received one email from our captain. The only emails I am getting is from Earl. And,
No, this isn't a back and forth.
and I questioned her because there was a couple weeks ago, we only had one BLS provider. An email went out saying they needed ALS driver. I didn't know about it, I found out, so I filled in and everything. If I had known, I would have been able to fill in for the whole weekend. I would have made plans. So it's not just fire and it's not just squad. We need to somehow get along, get together, be a team, because there's gonna be times the squad's gonna need lifting assistance or CPR, need help. There's gonna be times the fire's gonna need squad to come and everything. I can honestly say I'm afraid if something's going to happen on either fire side or squad side, because the two cannot work together. We're all adults, we all need to work together. So if there's a way that the village board can sit the captains, co-captains down in the squad, the chiefs together, try to work things out before it gets more out of hand, that's what needs to be done to see what can be done. If it can't be done, then you guys need to decide what else to do, take the next step or whatever, because it's not just the public and the community that's at risk for safety, it's also the firefighters, it's also the squad members that are coming on scene and doing stuff. So we all need to grow up and be adults here. Thank you.
I agree with that. Christina?
I would like to say that the squad has worked very hard to work with the chiefs, but when you have somebody intentionally sabotaging you and taking equipment and locking up keys and threatening to take gas cards and making it generally a hostile place, I think that needs to be brought under control.
Yeah, and I agree.
This is not the back and forth.
Right. I agree.
So along with the hostile work environment that's created there, you have providers like my wife, myself, that don't like to go into the station by myself with how we've been treated by the fire chiefs in the past. I mean, I've been threatened by the fire chief more than once. You've heard it, you've heard it, you've heard it, all right? I've been threatened by the fire chief more than once. And it's a hostile work environment. It's pretty bad down there when you have to go, you need to do work at the firehouse, and you look and see which vehicles are in the parking lot. Oh crap. I can't go to the firehouse without having a witness there with me because I don't feel comfortable going into the fire station because of things that have gone on the last 2 years there. And I'll tell you, there was until the dim light switch at the end of the tunnel, the light switch to the dim light on the end of the tunnel got turned back on. I had made peace with myself that I was going to take my services somewhere else. And I commend the mayor here to taking action to, and we call it the separation, divorce, whatever, because we as EMS providers and most of the people in EMS, 90% of the EMS providers only do EMS, and it's pretty difficult to do our job down there. And we do our best, Mr. Miller, just to get along, and it's hard when you have to see if the fire chief is Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde today before you can talk to him.
Mayor, for me, then I'm gonna split out again.
You sure?
First off,
Already missed it.
that was a little bit lighter than I normally would. This is not a new environment with this particular chief, and I have been a strong proponent of his. But he's got a couple of agitators that's feeding him pretty good, and anyhow. But I had a driver one day that suddenly went, when we came back in the station, the chief said, "I need to talk to you." I thought it was me. He said, "No, you," and points to my driver. Next thing you know, my driver is leaving the station in tears. And as I understand it, didn't hear what the discussion was, but as I understand it, he thought she insulted him in some way. Boo-hoo, big boy. So that put me where we're back. For the next call, I gotta scramble and try and get a driver someplace, okay? So this has been going on for quite a while. You should be up in that squad room and he comes up and wants to start thumping his chest and screaming at the people who are up there, and I can get rid of any one of you sorry. So it's not new. Now, having said that, to your point, okay? I have made this comment over the last couple weeks now, even to my captain. You guys get these chiefs settled down, if that means getting them in the room and the EMS in the room and saying, knock this off, play nice together, you have the power. They're appointed officials. You can remove them, any one of them, okay? But you get those guys settled down, the rest of us, we will make the damn thing work like it has before. Jim's gonna show up to drive, I'm gonna show up to do the medic, but you can't do it when half your safety equipment is gone because of a petulant child.
Or if you're scared to go to the station.
Well, that's true. But
I have to reiterate this. I'm not even from Owego. Okay? I'm not from here. I came here for what it used to be. And when this got done to them, I'm gonna get emotional because I'm pissed. When this got done to them, I got this dropped on me, which I gladly took because I wanted to keep this together. But when I get threatened on a scene that I volunteered to stop and help by the chief, who wasn't even there as the chief, he wasn't requested to the scene. We were requested for a drunk guy who was in the custody of OPD, did not need him there. And bringing me out in public when the OPD officer's looking at him, looking at me like, what the hell is going on? Well, that's what I felt like. But I have stepped up to this plate. I have had to come down here every day from North Valley because of stupid stuff that's happening and they don't feel safe. So I come from my home that I'm paying a mortgage on that I haven't seen to come down here and try and keep things going. I'm sorry if I'm emotional, but this is the way I feel. I will do whatever it takes. And Jim, I did send you an email.
I had never received it.
I sent you an email back saying I sent you the email on the same list that I used from him.
You sent me a text message.
Okay, a text message, and I used the same list that Earl does. I don't know what's happening to all of them. I am computer idiot, okay? I admit that. I try my best to do things, and what I am weak in, I seek. What I'm weak in, I seek and use. I'm a real good delegator, but I'm tired of being a pacifier. I'm just sorry, but I will continue to do what I'm doing. I haven't yelled at anybody in that station. I haven't confronted him. I have done what was asked of me, sending nice emails, nice text messages. I get nothing back, but I still continue to do it because that's what I was asked to do. But I'm really getting tired of leaving my house in the middle of the night, taking time off from work, my own job, to come down here to make sure stuff doesn't happen.
If you want this thing to succeed.
I'll do whatever you guys need me to do.
Get those chiefs under control.
Because what I was gonna say is Earl and I did a call, and fire control was trying to call us while we were in the house, and I had no way, because I had no portable, to answer them. So I had to walk away from patient care, which I could do because Earl is another EMT, so I did not leave my patient in abandonment. I had to walk away to go out to the rig to call fire control to find out what they needed from us. Because all the portables were gone. I did not have a portable. Now, granted, it was a lift assist, it wasn't a major emergency. But if it's just Earl and I working on somebody who's in cardiac arrest, I'm the one who's pushing drugs, not Earl. He's, managing the airway and doing the BLS stuff. I can't walk away from that patient because somebody decided to throw a hissy fit and take the portables.
I can also say it's not just that there's fire portables on for the fire trucks since the funeral that have not, because when we went to that fire on Marshall Road, we didn't have enough portables.